Station. Welcome into
City,
and your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A 2-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM Sports Station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Monday. We have a lot to get into in today's show. We are going to talk about the Royals. We'll do that here coming up momentarily. We're also going to talk about a couple of Kansas players who have hit the transfer portal. We'll get to that in a bit as well. The national championship game is coming up later today in college basketball between UConn and Michigan. Michigan absolutely rolled over Arizona this past weekend. UConn took care of their business against Illinois. We have our national championship matchup. We got a lot of NFL draft to talk about. We are less than a month away from the start of the NFL draft. Really excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Monday. Before we start with a little bit of Royals baseball, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. Number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the show each and every day are brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. Today, you have the opportunity to watch a little bit of Royals baseball, which then leads you into the national championship game in college basketball. So this is a great night to go stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place. They got a burger and brew Monday special. So you get a half-pound specialty burger with fries, $8.49. You also get a $3.50 domestic pint if you go stop by and see our friends. So go grab yourself some burgers, go grab yourself a beer, also watch a little ball with our friends over at The Other Place. All right, let's start with Josh Vernier, who was on the morning show earlier today. Here he is talking about that he is a little bit disappointed in the Royals, who have gotten off to a 4-5 start.
Me personally, I think that celebration is whack, as we're 9 games in. You've given 2 away. Your pitching staff has been the reason for another 2 losses. So 9 games in, it's hard to be anything other than disappointed in this team.
I don't want to overreact to the first 9 games of the season with the Kansas City Royals. It has certainly been up and down. There's been some highs and lows. You have a chance to get back to first place in this division going up against the Cleveland Guardians here over the next couple of days. So before I overreact or jump to any conclusion, let's see how things continue to play themselves out. One thing that I would like to point at with the Kansas City Royals, because I don't think that Vern is speaking out of turn. I don't think that Vern is incorrect in what he was saying. But if I had told you in the first 9 games of the season that Vinny Pasquantino wouldn't have a home run and be hitting 206, if I had told you in the first 9 games of the season that Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't going to hit a home run, that Jack Caglione wasn't going to have a home run, that Carter Jensen was going to be basically suspended for 1 game for oversleeping, if I had told you that the foundation of their offense was going to get off to the slow start that they've gotten off to, you would have told me that their record is pretty close to what it actually is. So, yes, this team is not perfect by any means. They need their pitching staff, more specifically their bullpen, to tighten up a little bit. They need their offense to be a little bit more consistent. But this is not a problem that I expect the Royals to have throughout the duration of the season. Vinny's a 30 home run guy. So is Bobby Witt Jr. as a potential MVP all-star, one of the faces of Major League Baseball. I don't think that Jack Caglione is going to have no home runs and no RBIs the way that he has so far this season, even though Jack Caglione is hitting 286 with the 375 on-base percentage. So let's just give it a little bit more time. I know that's not always the best sports talk radio take, but I don't want to overreact to the first 3 series for the Kansas City Royals. They've played 9 games so far. Now they're going on the road. They're playing a team that is going to be very competitive in their division, a team that has a chance to win their division. They got the White Sox coming up at home this weekend, so a very important stretch of games for the Royals in the American League Central. Let's see how the Royals go out there, and let's see how the Royals continue to handle business. Speaking of this series against the Cleveland Guardians, which is actually a kind of a weird series. So we are off the air today at 4 o'clock because of the East Coast start time. They moved the game up tomorrow to a day game because of the weather. It's almost like we shouldn't be playing baseball in early April in northern cities because it's still cold during that time. And there's also a day game on Wednesday. So our schedule is all discombobulated. Your schedule is all discombobulated with the Royals, but you can hear all of it right here on 96.5 The Fan. I want to play one more cut with you guys from Vern before we talk a little Kansas basketball. Here is Vern talking about expecting a win against the Guardians.
If you're going to have a 3-3 homestand, which to me is a disappointment, it needs to be made up somewhere. So, yeah, 2 of 3 on the road. I'm not going to give you the, oh, well, it's tough to win a series on the road. You need to do something extraordinary to offset this disappointing series in Atlanta, this disappointing homestand, this disappointing start to the season. So I like it, Dusty. I like where the standard is. I like where the expectations are. But to go back to what you said when we first started this conversation, the base running and defense must get cleaned up, or else they're going to get worked by Cleveland like they just got worked and totally outclassed by Milwaukee.
So looking at the Royals' probable pitchers for the next 3 days heading into a key series against a divisional opponent, they have Michael Wacha going today. Noah Cameron is on the hill for the Royals tomorrow, and Cole Reagans is on the mound for the Royals on Wednesday. So you feel good in each of your 3 games with who you have going out there as a starter. You feel like you can be very competitive in each of those 3 games. Let's see how the Royals can take care of business. Let's see how they handle these 3 games coming up in Cleveland over the next 3 days against the Cleveland Guardians. I want to ask this question about Kansas, as we have now seen a couple more players enter the transfer portal. Now, I am not up on all the inner workings and dealings with the Kansas basketball team, but I would have thought that Bryson Tiller would have been a non-negotiable. Now, I don't know what Bryson Tiller is asking from a financial standpoint, but, I mean, he's one of the kids I'd be interested in keeping. We're talking about a 5-star big, very talented, I thought showed promise as a freshman, former McDonald's All-American, who I think is going to be very, very valued now hitting the transfer portal. I would have tried to keep Bryson Tiller, and I wouldn't let him hit the transfer portal. But again, I don't know all the inner workings at KU. Maybe this is just something outside of my purview. We also saw another one of their bigs hit the transfer portal as well. This is my question. And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, and I am interested to get you guys' opinion, 913-586-7965. I'm interested to get Rob's thoughts and opinions on this as somebody who is a Kansas season ticket holder and an alum of the university. He has helped pay for some of this. This is the part about Kansas and the transfer portal that, honestly, I do not understand. So let's not look at it through the guise of a sports team, right? Let's look at it through the lens of a company. If we are looking at it through the lens of a company, Kansas is one of the absolute best companies to work for. It's Google. You have as much history as anybody in your field. You have a very, very loyal fan base that constantly comes to games, constantly supports, donates, supports everything that you would want for a company in this field. You have one of the greatest CEOs in the history of business in this analogy, and Bill Self. We're talking about a guy who is already in the Basketball Hall of Fame, a guy whose credentials, you don't need me to read them all for you. He is one of the most successful coaches in the history of the sport. So you have a very important Fortune 500 company. You got one of the best CEOs. You got a great fan base and great fan support. How do they struggle so much in the transfer portal? How have you lost all 3 of your key bigs heading into the offseason? The transfer portal opens up tomorrow. How have you already lost Flory? Whether it's more money, can't deal with agents, whatever it is. How have you already lost Bryson Tiller for whatever it is in this? Like, if this was a company that I told you they struggle to retain employees despite being the perception is that it is one of the absolute best companies to go for, you would have some questions about that company. Maybe it is not the company that we think it is in terms of the inner workings or and the dealings of it, or Kansas is not paying what we think they're paying basketball players. Because I just kind of find it hard to believe if you are good enough to play high school basketball and Kansas is really interested in you, I kind of find it hard to believe that you can be playing, having success, you're getting all the minutes, you're getting all the adorations, and all the great things that seem to come with being a basketball player at Kansas. And then at the end of the year, Kansas offers you a raise, tells you how much they appreciate you, how much they want you to stay, how much they want you to be there, and they want you to be there to help win a national championship. And then you look at that situation and say, no, I'm okay. I'm going to see what else is out there. This is not the problem at some other universities that it is at Kansas. Losing Flory and losing Bryson Tiller to the transfer portal and having to start over potentially again, whether it's from a guard perspective, and now you got to replace Melvin Council, Trey White, and Darren Peterson, and now having to potentially have to replace Flory and Bryson Tiller, and that's a lot of work to go into the transfer portal. So maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, and I'm not trying to look at it through Missouri Tiger lenses. I'm simply just trying to do the say it out loud test. If it's a great company to work for that has a great boss, that has great support, they're paying you exactly what you want to be paid, how are so many kids unhappy with the situation at Kansas? Or maybe it's not unhappiness. Why are so many kids willing to see what else is out there at Kansas? I don't think it's a Bill Self issue. I definitely don't think it's a fan base issue of, hey, I want to play big-time college basketball. I don't think you can play much big-time college basketball better than you can at Kansas. Maybe Kansas is not paying in the NIL what I think all of us think they are paying. This is not a problem at Michigan. This is not a problem at Arizona. Some of those other key programs, they're not having the issue in retaining their own talent and keeping those kids in the portal the way that I think Kansas is, or at least the perception of all of it is. I want to get Rob's opinion on this on the other side. We'll get you guys' opinion on this on the other side, 913-586-7965. I do want to continue to talk college basketball. North Carolina has hired their new head coach. We'll talk about that. I think came as a shock to everybody. And we got the college basketball national championship game coming up tonight. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship, because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better. Let's get it.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. I'm happy to take questions on this. I'm happy to answer this. I want to get Rob's opinion. I want to get your opinion. The text line is very upset. I'm asking this question honestly. If there was a company, right now, our top text, CDOT, Kansas has top 10 NIL, if you actually knew what you were talking about. So I want to do the say it out loud test. You were telling me that Kansas pays near the top of the market for talent. Kansas has the best coach. Kansas has the best game day atmosphere. Kansas has the best fans. I don't know if you can have all of those things and also struggle in the transfer portal. I don't know if all of those things can be true. I would say then either 2 reasons are why Kansas seems to struggle with the transfer portal. Based off, they don't have a big guy right now. That's really important to winning at this level. Their future NBA big and Flory has already hit the transfer portal. A guy in Bryson Tiller who I was looking forward to coming back. Like, this is the guy who, hey, he comes back, he continues to develop, he continues to grow. This is the kind of Kansas basketball player that used to, hey, by your 2nd and 3rd year, you go off and you're all Big 12, and then you go off. I mean, it's not like Bryson Tiller's declaring for the NBA. He said today, I'm open to playing basketball somewhere else other than Kansas. I'm simply asking the question, with all of the advantages that Kansas seems to have, it can either be one of 2 reasons. Kansas is not paying the way that we think they are paying, or a lot more of these kids have a problem with Bill Self than we are willing to admit. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, it's simple. The employees don't like their boss. He's probably too tough on these soft throw-a-fit kids. Well, then I would just ask, again, looking at this from a neutral then, is that a good thing if Bill is currently not meeting what you guys tell me your expectations are? The expectations at Kansas are to win the league. The expectations at Kansas are to win the Big 12 tournament. The expectations at Kansas are to advance in the NCAA tournament. Bill Self is not doing any of those things right now, and he is not retaining the top talent to be able to do those things. The guy replies, C-Dot, we're not struggling in the portal with money. We just keep picking the wrong guys. If you are losing players like Flory and Bryson Tiller, some of it is money. Some of it is a financial issue, at least in my opinion. Rob, you are a Kansas basketball fan. You can tell me if I'm right, wrong, however you feel on this. What do you make of what seems like, I would say, of the players that you would have told me you want to come back next year at Kansas? I think these were number 1 and number 2 on the list of players you wanted to retain. Both of them have hit the transfer portal. How are you feeling right now about your program?
I think it's fair to ask the question you're asking, but I also think it's also fair to point out Kansas has a player retention problem. Like, last year they got Flory to come back, but it was only because he flirted with Auburn and Indiana very openly in the portal. Kansas in the portal era has a player retention problem. We talked about after the loss to St. John's. Zuby Ejiofor is a guy that they would like to have retained. He didn't retain him. I think it's fair to point that out. I also think this is kind of the new era we live in where as players start to get recruited over, they don't stick around. Like, KU has a top 100 kid coming in who plays center. Is that kid better than Bryson Tiller? Is that kid better than, Flory Badunga? Probably not, not immediately. But I wonder if you're a Bryson Tiller and you see the writing on the wall. You're bringing in a great player. They were always going to go pluck a transfer portal kid to play at center once they found out about Flory. And now it's, hold on, where are my minutes going to come from? So I think Kansas' biggest problem is I think they have not adjusted to modern times. You can try to, quote, recruit over a player and retain them at the same time, but they haven't seemed to find a way to balance that just yet, which is why I've been advocating for a long time now, get a GM. Because then you know the situation going into every moment like this. It was quietly known. Mike Vernon, friend of the show, his newsletter for KU fans, was saying that Tiller's group was kind of shopping him, and the thought was he was gone for a while. I don't know the reason, but that was the thought. So I don't think this was a surprise to Lawrence, but it's frustrating to see such a problem on player retention happening in Kansas.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, you're wrong. Cole Rosario was our number 1 priority, and he's coming back. There is not a basketball person alive that if you could choose between Cole Rosario next year and Bryson Tiller would choose Cole Rosario. Cole's a decent player. If he's coming back, that's great for Kansas. He is 6'6". Bryson Tiller is 6'11".
Unless they have someone lined up to recruit over him. Like, you know how the portal works. Someone's going to enter the do not contact tag, and it's because someone got contacted. I don't know that's happening, but let's say pick a name of a good big is coming, and that's why Tiller knows can't be stay time.
But you need multiple of those guys. Now, maybe Flory is doing the exact same thing he did last year. He's entering the portal. He's going to dance around a little bit, and he's going to end up coming back. But, Rob, you and I both know Bryson Tiller is the hardest thing to find in the portal. There are not a bunch of 6'11", skilled, super talented kids. Bryson Tiller has a chance to play in the NBA. He's 6'11". There are not a bunch of those guys. No disrespect to Cole Rosario. There's a lot of 6'6" guys that can shoot it in the portal. There are not a lot of very talented 6'11", hey, if you get 2 more years of this guy on campus, he can turn into a 15-8 potential all-league kind of player, which I think Bryson Tiller can be. There is not a single person that if you were telling me for the next 2 years which one of these guys would you rather pick up in the portal, everybody is picking Bryson Tiller. This is a player that if you are Kansas, you need to keep. Because if Bryson Tiller leaves, he's going to a major competitor. Is where he's leaving. He is leaving your company, and he's going to Duke. He's going to Kentucky. He's going to North. He's one of those kind of prospects. If you're 6'11", if you played at Kansas and averaged 8 and 7 the way that he did last year, you can transfer to any school in the country next year, wherever you want to go.
He will definitely, if I were betting, he's at a Power 4 next year.
No, he's at a high P4, not a small one.
high is probably relative. Like, let's say I don't think he's going to go there. If he went to Iowa State, would that be a high Power 4? I could see that. We talk about coaching tiers. He could be on that tier 2 of coaching places. Like,
I would consider Iowa State to be that, just because, and I understand what you're talking in terms of like program cachet.
I don't think it's Duke or Kentucky, but it's still going to be a good Power 4 program.
I would just say yes, at least for this conversation with Iowa State, because Iowa State preseason going to be ranked preseason top 15. What I'm saying is he's not going to Wake Forest, for example. He's not going to Clemson. He's not going to a team in which, hey, that team doesn't really have a shot. Bryson Tiller, especially if the option was stay at Kansas and start at Kansas, I don't know why I'm leaving Kansas to now go play at NC State. No, I'm going to a team that's got a shot next year. I'm going to Nebraska, for example, playing with Hoiberg, and we're bringing everybody back, and we got a chance to make a serious run next year. Those are the kind of teams that I think are going to contact him.
Or, you mentioned NC State. A heavy bag like LSU could obviously change things too. Like
there's dropping off a bag for sure.
And that's why I wanted to clarify what high power is. Like he's going to a P4 school. It would shock me if he's like a star at Providence. Like I don't think that's happening. It's going to be a high major in a power conference where Bryson Tiller ends up.
So yeah, text line. If you think I'm off, I'm happy to read more text on this. 913-586-7965. I just feel like if this was a regular company, and this regular company seemed to have all the advantages that Kansas seems to have, and you are telling me that they are paying comparable, if you're telling me that this is the Apple of the college basketball world, great cachet, great job to have, great CEO, that company is not struggling with keeping its top employees. They're keeping them. I want to be here. There's no better place for me to work. I love the benefits. I love the pay. I love all the things that come with it. The fact that Kansas right now, they do not have a big guy, and those are the hardest things to get in the portal, is just something that really, really stands out to me. All right, Rob, let's talk a little college basketball outside of Kansas. Let's talk about right now the top stories in college basketball. We'll get back to the Royals in a bit. Denny Matthews is going to be on the show, his first appearance of the year. Let's start with North Carolina. I'm a little surprised at this hire for North Carolina. For those of you that have missed it, the Tar Heels have hired Mike Malone. He was the coach for the Denver Nuggets that won the championship a couple of years back. So Jokic, Murray, Christian Brown, Michael Porter Jr., the team that won the championship 3-4 years ago. Mike Malone was that team's head coach. He recently got let go, was looking for the right opportunity. He believes that opportunity is at North Carolina. His daughter is on the volleyball team, so he takes over at North Carolina. I think there were a lot of people, I would put myself in this conversation. Once Dusty May said no, once we saw Tommy Lloyd say no, I believe that they were going to end up hiring Billy Donovan. You would have to imagine they at least put out some feelers for Billy Donovan. If Billy Donovan, I don't think they made this hire solely to try to beat the transfer portal for this year if they knew Billy Donovan was going to take the job. The NBA season for the Bulls ends in a week. If you really wanted Billy Donovan to be your next coach, you're willing to wait the week to go bring him in to establish yourself long term. You go get another former NBA guy who has had great success in the NBA, and now you bring him into the mix. I am a little bit surprised that this happened. I also, thinking about it, to bring it back to a local conversation, this is not somebody I would expect Kansas to hire, not in the least, but I don't think Kansas would ever be interested in a coach like Mike Malone.
I mean, this reeks of a panic hire by North Carolina. Now, maybe that's wrong by me, but I mean, it was pretty well reported they were trying to get Tommy Lloyd. He then got the raise and then told his AD, "You're not my boss anymore." All right, moving on. So it goes. They then very openly tried to get Dusty May. You'll remember over the weekend, he said, "Nope, I'm not leaving." You then had nowhere to go. You had to wait a week for Billy Donovan. I don't know if Billy Donovan would have taken the job based on what happened. This feels like they got caught in no man's land, and they panicked and went out and hired Mike Malone and Matt Norlander. Matt Norlander's not a friend of the show. He's only been on once, right? But I like Matt Norlander's work.
You like him.
He said that they reached out to Ben McCollum at Iowa, and Ben McCollum then turned them down. So,
I don't think McCollum's leaving. I actually think McCollum is happy. This is the thing.
I just feel like if three coaches turn you down real fast, I think ADs start to sweat, and that's how you ended up with Michael Malone.
For sure, and that's why, going back to the KU conversation for just a little bit, but still keeping it here. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, Tiller is going to go wherever he thinks he can get the biggest bag. These kids don't care about winning. I don't know how we can see that there are coaches that say no and are very happy where they are, and we just assume that the players are not people and feel the exact same way. Like Ben McCollum is a really good example. Ben McCollum could absolutely get a better job than where he currently is that pays more than his current job. But I want to be here. I like it here. I like the AD. I like the fan base. I like working with the boosters. Like, this is home for me. I want to make this home for me. I don't know how we can see that adults at every other aspect decide to make this, but we don't think the players have the ability to also make that decision for themselves. So, I mean, I told you in this entire process, this is not a KU thing, a North Carolina thing. There is not another college job in the interim that I think Ben McCollum would take or listen to. I think he's happy. He is from Iowa City. He is now the head coach at Iowa. He's having great success at Iowa. I imagine he walks around that place and he is a king there. Whatever you need, you go to the AD and they will make sure that it happens for you. They got a great track record in keeping coaches. We've seen that with Kirk Ferentz in the football program. I completely understand why Ben McCollum is not super interested in leaving where he is right now and wants to build something lasting in Iowa. That's what every program is trying to find, their version of Ben McCollum. Hey, he's got ties to the community. He likes being here. He is not going to entertain himself with these other jobs and wanting to leave. Kind of like the football coach at Vanderbilt. Done a phenomenal job. You can get a better job than Vanderbilt. He is not leaving Vanderbilt. He is an alum. He's from Nashville. That guy's not going anywhere. Yes, you could get a better job that pays more than Vanderbilt, but I want to be here. I want to build something.
I don't disagree on that concept. I don't know Ben McCollum. It's also possible that he just doesn't want to take the North Carolina job with this. There's a lot of things that could be at play. I also think, and this is to my point about the panic move, Jeff Goodman is friend of the show. He says a source close to North Carolina tells him that the new AD panicked after being told no by Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May. That's what this move reeks of to me.
They should listen to the drive. Carrington said that those two coaches were going to say no to North Carolina.
But, I mean, yes. But also, if you get told no by those two, you don't have a list beyond Michael Malone, who last coached in college basketball as an assistant at Manhattan. Not Manhattan, Kansas. Manhattan University in 2000. Michael Malone has been in college basketball in 25 years. So now at North Carolina, they hired Bill Belichick and Michael Malone. It doesn't feel like a really good hire by Carolina, and it felt like a panic move, and now basically we are hearing it is in fact a panic move. That's at least what a source is telling Jeff Goodman.
Yeah,
it's a bad hire. It looks like a bad hire. I don't know
if it's a bad hire or not. Like, I have all the confidence in the world as Michael Malone as a basketball coach, but I think you are now seeing that being a head coach of a college basketball program is just a lot more than the X's and O's and the 30-something games that you are the head coach, and can you handle all of the other things that come with being a head coach that just make it a very, very different sport and how the business side operates than the NBA. Now, it is definitely different. It is definitely creative. I really think that the Blue Bloods, I think they are struggling to adjust that the world is changing. And usually, those kind of stalwart brands are usually the last to know. For example, I don't know if you were following it this week, but there was a lot of conversation about Nike stock. And Nike stock is down tremendously over the last 5 years. I think that Nike is struggling to see how the consumer has changed, and they are really slow to adjust to what we gravitate towards today. I think a lot of these blue blood programs think our history, our job, everybody's going to want it. So when you go make a phone call to Arizona and you're like, oh, there's no way he'll turn us down, and he tells you pretty openly no, and is also willing to take less money to not take your job. Tommy Lloyd left money on the table. I'm also going to guess that Dusty May left money on the table to not take your job. I think some of these blue bloods are really just getting a crash course in, man, the market is changing and how people perceive these jobs and the cachet that come with these jobs. Yes, it is a cool title to have, but winning one national championship in Michigan and winning one national championship at North Carolina, it is the same to a lot of people.
I agree with that. I also think as part of the evolution in college sports, 4 years ago, not 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, 4 years ago, if you're North Carolina, everyone's available. 4 years ago, if you're Duke, everyone's available. Like when North Carolina's job opened the first time, when they hired Hubert Davis, they could have hired anyone they wanted. They could have called, I don't know who Arizona coach was at the time, they could have called him and gotten him. I think there is an evolution happening, and I think North Carolina possibly just panicked on part of it. Also, I don't know if this is breaking news. Elmarco Jackson, KU guard, has now entered the transfer portal. That one, most fans were probably happy with that one.
I don't think you're worried about Elmarco Jackson hitting the transfer portal. He's not that good of a basketball player to me. Now, he's very different. What I was saying about Bryson Tiller, I do not feel about Elmarco Jackson.
I think he got recruited over is what happened to him.
I would also not be surprised if Elmarco Jackson ends up at a school and you're like, where did he end up going?
He reeks of Providence or Rutgers. He's
For
from
sure.
Jersey.
Like, Bryson Tiller is at the top of the list of the transfer portal. He is at the you take your pick. Bryson Tiller could go play at UConn next year. He could go play at Michigan next year. Elmarco Jackson is not going to have that level of freedom next year to be able to decide where he wants to go. So, yeah, him in the transfer portal or Bryson Tiller in the transfer portal, very, very different thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas encouraged Elmarco Jackson to hit the portal. Hey, we don't have a spot for you here. We need this scholarship. A lot of times I think when we talk about the portal, we only talk about it in the sense of the player deciding no. No, it's a one-year contract on both sides. And if you need that scholarship and Elmarco Jackson is going to be the ninth guy on the bench and he's not part of your rotation, yeah, I mean, he couldn't get on the court with this team that had no depth. Yeah, he's probably not part of their future.
He also is the player that KU fans remember. He got torched on the last play of the season for the game winner. That was his defensive assignment. So, yeah, I don't think this one's a surprise. We're just keeping people up to date on Elmarco Jackson has now entered the transfer portal.
Do you think they're done with the portal? I guess, or do you think that Kansas has any more portal announcements? We were just talking about Cole Rosario. I mean,
it's Rosario and McDowell are the only two left that I think are in. I would start to think
y'all got to really, really get to work in this portal. I will say that y'all got to really, really get going, and that really hasn't been Bill's strong suit in his career.
I agree.
You guys got about 7 or 8 spots you got to fill with the portal.
Well,
think about it.
You're gonna fill 4 with high school kids, maybe a 5th with Stokes. So you got 5 coming in. Now, are they 5 guaranteed stars? No, but you got 5 scholarships are now going to be used real quick.
Yeah, if you're telling me you're playing as 5 freshmen next year, you better hope that you got a Koa Pete and Braden Burries on that team. You better hope that you got some absolute dogs on that team. Kansas got a lot of work to do when it comes to the transfer portal. No Trey White, no Darren Peterson, at least as of now, no Melvin Council. Flory is gone. Bryson Tiller is gone. I'm talking, I mean, if we're looking at percentage of points that are gone, percentage of rebounds that are gone, percentage of assists, I mean, they're losing a substantial amount of their basketball team heading into the next season. They got to really kick things in high gear.
I don't have the number in front of me, but I would imagine as of right now, Cole Rosario is the player with the most consistent minutes that is slated to return. I'll say slated because he could enter the portal. I mean, who else is there? Melvin Council, you mentioned. Darren Peterson, you mentioned. Trey White, you mentioned. Those guys does not come back. Tiller's in the portal. Flory's in the portal. Palm B is in the portal.
They got a lot of dudes right now on that team.
Jamari McDowell maybe is the most minutes, but it's not like KU fans are itching to keep Jamari McDowell.
It's probably Cole Rosario.
I think McDowell played more minutes, but it's one of those two guys, and those guys are role players. They have no stars coming back. Now, you're right. I don't know how much this is by design. We do too often in the transfer portal world blame the kid. Can you believe that kid left? Sometimes they were told to leave. Remember when Dion got hired and he had that video where he goes, I'm bringing my bags and my bag's Louis? He was basically telling everyone, go away. I don't want you on the roster. It's like,
he ended up being right. He ended up being right. But no, you're right. In terms of minutes from last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all gone. 6 just hit the transfer portal. You're right. The player right now who is returning with the most minutes from last year's team is Jamari McDowell and Cole Rosario. Jaden Dawson. Those are the top 3.
Dawson's a senior. He's out.
So those are the top 2 guys that are returning. After that, it's the Samus Calderon kid. Those are your top 3 minutes returning next year on Kansas basketball. This is really sending Bill out on a high note.
I mean, unless Bill and Co. and whoever's running things over there think they can enhance the talent by just restarting from tear it down to the studs and restart. I mean, that has to be part of the plan, right? I don't know that at this point in the season anyone enters and KU is just like, I don't think Bill Self announced he's returning Wednesday. Flory enters the portal Thursday, and he's like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, it has to be some sort of larger plan that we just don't see yet, is my guess.
Yeah, I was certainly, I guess, and I'm with you on a much higher plan. Kansas hasn't really shown me a lot of confidence to trust their transfer portal plan. They're not good at it. They're not good at the portal. I don't know what to tell you. They're not that good at it. We got enough evidence with the trend. It ain't that new we know what Kansas's strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and trying to build their team primarily through the portal, which is what they're going to do to keep up the level of expectation that Kansas has, it is going to be a varied results for the 2026-2027 Kansas Jayhawk basketball team. Coming up at the top of the hour, Denny Matthews is going to join us on the show, the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals. Very excited to talk to him. You know what? Let's talk a little bit of NFL draft coming up on the other side. There was a proposed trade idea on ESPN I want to go over with you guys. We'll do it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy 1 Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
When Kansas City storms roll through, hail and wind can damage your roof without you even realizing it. If your home was hit, call us at Century Roofing for a free inspection today. We handle every step with your insurance company, making the process stress-free and easy for you. For over 35 years and more than 35,000 roofs, we've been protecting Kansas City homes. Let us protect yours. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the 7th inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
we'll be back after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate or BPH could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
No one likes having to choose. That's why with America's best lineup of hybrids from Hyundai, you get the best of both worlds. Like the reliable and efficient Tucson Hybrid with America's best warranty. Or the stylish yet capable Santa Fe Hybrid with power to navigate the toughest terrain. It's like having your cake and eating it too. You know, if you could drive a cake. Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. Ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint, we'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into the show. Let me tell you guys that our draft coverage on the show is brought to you by our friends over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Lunch. Rob, we haven't been invited out to the Salvation Army Civic Lunch. How can they sponsor the show? We haven't broke bread with these individuals. What do we need to do to go to the Salvation Army Civic Lunch? I'm sure you sat in on these meetings. I know you're going to act like you didn't know nothing about this, but we haven't been invited to the lunch. I'd love to sit down with these people.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never heard of these companies.
Yeah, I'm sure. You the one told me to read it. I'm sure you had all the steaks and the lobsters with the Salvation Army folks. I didn't get nothing. Can I read to you guys a trade proposal that was thrown out on ESPN? Now, I love a hypothetical trade. The fact that I don't have to come up with this one, so if you guys tell me it's a bad trade, you guys can get mad at them and not me, I actually really appreciate about it. Denny Matthews coming up in 15 minutes. So this was the trade proposal that was thrown out per ESPN. The Chiefs would trade back from the 9th overall pick to the 18th overall pick. So they would get pick 18. They would pick up a 3rd round pick, the 97th overall pick. They would get Jonathan Greenard, who is the pass rusher from the Minnesota Vikings, who I'm thinking at some point is going to be moved, but just hasn't been moved yet. I'm guessing he'll be moved closer to the NFL draft. So the Chiefs would get 18, 97, and they would pick up Jonathan Greenard. And the Vikings would get the 9th overall pick and Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Now, Greenard, he is 29 years old. He still has 2 years left on his contract, and he is owed around $38 million on his deal. Now, I'm not here to call anybody else's trade idea bad, and I'm sure that you guys have also felt the exact same way about some of the trade ideas that I've thrown out there. But if this trade was real and it was really proposed to the Kansas City Chiefs, why did they let Minnesota get off the phone? Why did they let them? You were telling me in this, for a guy who in 2023 had 12.5 sacks, in 2024 had 12 sacks, last year had a foot injury. If you were telling me that you get to add that player, it costs you just 9 spots in the NFL draft, but you pick up the 97th overall pick, you get rid of one of your biggest first-round disappointments in the last 15 years or so, and all that really cost you is cap space. Why'd you let Minnesota off the phone? You should have made that trade immediately. This shouldn't be something that the Chiefs are mulling over if they have a chance to make this kind of move. They should make this move immediately. You still have 2 first-round picks. You pick up another top 100 pick, and you get a guy with a proven track record of being able to get to the other team's quarterback. Rob, tell me the negatives on this trade.
I mean this seriously. If that was a real trade, and whoever the GM of the Vikings is, I know they just fired their old GM, but the new GM of the Vikings called the Chiefs, and that was offered, Brett Veach should have conference called in Jonathan Greenard's agent and been like, all right, here's how we're going to make the cap work, and then faxed over the details immediately. There is no negative to that deal for the Chiefs. Maybe it's the cap space. Like, I don't know how they would manage that contract because it is pretty large. They gave Grenard, however you say his name. But outside of that, you get to keep 2 first-round picks. You get another top 100 pick. You get a pass rusher. Like, I am trying to imagine how bad this contract must be where the Chiefs, in the hypothetical world, said, nah, we're good. It seems like a dunk. Why would you not take the dunk?
Yeah, I don't really understand it. You guys have to help me understand. 913-586-7965. You guys, you got to help me understand why the Chiefs wouldn't make this trade if this trade was presented to them, because this feels like an absolute no-brainer kind of deal, if you ask me, if you were the Kansas City Chiefs. You still have your 2 first-round picks. You pick up a pass rusher. If we're talking about it's just money, really, at that point, I feel like you can live with that to get a guy that has a history and a track record of getting to the other team's quarterback. I mean, I would say that, honestly, that trade would be the best possible option for Kansas City. If we were talking about who is potentially available, they already picked up a D lineman in Tonga, so I don't know if they're in the Dexter Lawrence conversation. Now, I mean, I'm not against you going to get Dexter Lawrence. I'm guessing it would also cost a first-round pick. I don't think the Chiefs are now willing to trade and just give up that first-round pick to now pick up a contract. But if you're talking about just quite simply moving back in the draft and then also picking up somebody, I don't know why they wouldn't be in favor of doing that.
Like I said, Spot Track isn't loading on my computer back here. His deal must be like astronomically bad, because you're right. It is known around the league that the Vikings are shopping him and are probably going to cut him at some point post June 1 to get out from under his contract. But I can't imagine his contract is so bad the Chiefs wouldn't take a first-round pick, trade back, and a top 100 pick just to offload it. For 2 years, I would swallow the cap pill and do that if I'm the Chiefs, because you can still draft a pass rusher at 18. You can take, who's the kid from Peter Woods at 18. There seems like there's no negatives to this deal. And again, unless his contract is just crazy.
Yeah, I want to read this text really quickly, and I'm sorry to go back here, but I feel like maybe in this conversation, KU fans are trying to have their cake and eat it too. So we were talking about Bryson Tiller, who went to the transfer portal. Rob, I want to read this text to you. C-Dot, his season stats were fine as a freshman, but he got worse statistically throughout the season. He was benched in the Big 12 tournament. His last 5 games, he was average. He barely averaged over 5 points and 6-ish rebounds. C-Dot, you're acting like he's not replaceable. That's Missouri fan thinking. KU gets players like him almost yearly. If he goes to a different school, maybe he's guaranteed more minutes. If that's what he does, it's okay. We'll see who actually leaves, who stays, who comes to KU via the portal. This is why I think the KU fans are trying to play both ends against the middle and just aren't being fair. Number one, I hear KU fans say how tired they are of the transfer portal and then want to develop the way that they are accustomed to developing, which is taking players like Bryson Tiller, who was a top 40 kid in high school, keeping him, developing him, teaching him the Jayhawk way, and then by the time that he is a junior or a senior, he then turns out to be that player. That is exactly who I think Bryson Tiller is going to turn out to be. I would say that one of the issues with Kansas and why they haven't been able to keep up to their standard, but still is a very, very good program, is I would say that they are striking out on both ends. They are just okay at the transfer portal, and they are also not developing kids like Bryson Tiller anymore. I think if Bryson Tiller stays in college, which it doesn't sound like he's declaring for the NBA draft, sounds like he's going to stay in school, I think Bryson Tiller is going to be a player that averages 15 points and double-digit rebounds by the time that he is a junior. You're telling me in 2 years Kansas couldn't use that 6'11 talent on their team? I'm looking at the transfer portal right now. Rob, they have him as the 3rd highest ranked big guy in the portal. Now, there's going to be more kids that obviously enter the portal. I'm guessing he's going to be a top 10 kid. This is where I think KU fans are lying to themselves a little bit. He's 6'11 and talented and skilled. He's 6'11. So, no, Kansas does not get players like this all the time on campus. I'm sorry, there's not that many of them every year, and especially when you disperse it. So, man, maybe it is Missouri fan thinking. If Missouri had Bryson Tiller, I'd be heated if he was hitting the transfer portal. He's 6'11 and a former McDonald's All-American. Yeah, we need more of those kids. Those are the ones that you need. So, yeah, this is a big deal, in my opinion. I know Kansas fans are going to try to downplay it like it's not a big deal, but I can't sit here in January and February, you guys tell me you want more high school recruits, you then lose one of your best high school recruits, and then tell me it doesn't matter. You can't have both.
I think, and maybe this is the KU arrogance showing, I think to the texter's point, Tiller was not great down the stretch, and I think KU is of the belief they can find the next Tiller. That is very, very difficult in the portal. But maybe they think they have the 70th ranked kid in the class, Davion Atkins. He's a center. He plays at Link, I believe. Maybe they believe he's the next Bryson Tiller, and they can replace him in the aggregate. Maybe it's not a one-for-one trade. Like, Tiller enter the portal. We got to go get, V-Star to replace him. Maybe KU thinks this is his ceiling. Like, it's possible that KU didn't want to retain him the same way that maybe he didn't want to stay at Kansas. We don't know. I don't think it's impossible if Kansas could replace him, though. But you're right. Historically, a guy like Tiller is the guy who KU holds on to for 3-4 years, and he becomes Thomas Robinson.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's usually the hopes. Someone said, CDOT, to be fair, those two players can come back. You're talking like they already are gone. I would be surprised if both of those players returned. I'd be surprised. Maybe you get Flory to come back. I would be surprised.
You ain't getting both.
One's gone. That's also not a game I would want to keep playing with the transfer portal is. I would just like for those players to announce that they are returning to school and they are not going to listen to anybody else. Like, that's what I would like from the very, very beginning. Like, this is like saying that you're going to take a break. Yeah, you're right. Like, you and that person can get back together, but now you're letting her go on dates and do all these other things. Like, she might just say at the end, yeah, you're right, I'm not coming back. Like, I would just, if I'm Kansas and I'm talking of like, I think there's a chance that Flory could have been their best player next year. So why would you even entertain the possibility of him leaving? He's one of the 5 best big men in the portal. I also think that Bryson Tiller had a chance to be a guy that started 30 games for those guys next year. Like, yeah, you want those players on your team. You absolutely want those guys. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Denny Matthews, Hall of Fame voice of the Royals. We'll get his recap on the first week and a half with the boys in blue. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers, it's what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
This afternoon, expect sunny conditions with a high of 63.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Forget what you think being a cop is. In Leavenworth, we're not robotic, no egos, just real people doing real work and loving it. You'll have a front row seat to action you can't script, and you'll do it with the latest high-tech tools in modern policing and technology that helps you do the job smarter and safer. It's real. It's not for everyone, but if you want in, come apply.
Leavenworth PD. We're different on purpose. Got questions? Give Sergeant Flynn a call and apply now at leavenworthks.gov/police. That's leavenworthks.gov/police.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Trading the jacket for flip-flops? Start your sun-soaked getaway stress-free with Park & Go. All covered parking keeps your car cool and protected while you're catching rays. Quick shuttle straight to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer-approved.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. You want to know how I know it's spring? You want to know how I know it's baseball season? Because it is Monday at 3 o'clock, and we welcome on the voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews, joins us on the show. Denny, how are you doing today?
Hi, Carrington. How you doing? This is like opening day for us.
It absolutely is opening day for us. So there's a lot to get your thoughts on, a lot to get your opinions on. I want to start here with the Royals. I am happy that there is a real measure of expectation and excitement about this team. Too many years we've seen the Royals, and a lot of it has been about development for the young guys. I really feel there's a buzz around this team. I really feel there is a playoff or bust mentality about this year's version of the Kansas City Royals.
Well, I think you're correct in everything you just said. And as you know, it all and always revolves around your pitching staff, your starters, and your bullpen, and then you have a pretty good defense behind them, and offensively they have to be supported. It's one of those things, 26 men on the roster, and they all have to contribute.
How do you feel about the rest of the division?
I think there are 3 contending teams and 2 non-contenders. Minnesota are becoming what the White Sox have been, it looks like, in the last few years. The White Sox are better, and we'll find out all about them, or not all about them, but we'll find out more about them this coming weekend at Kauffman Stadium. But then it's Detroit, Cleveland, and Kansas City. And which of those 3 teams plays the best for the next 6 months will be in the playoffs. And from there, you just take your chances, and anything can happen.
You mentioned it with the Royals and their starting pitching. One major sign of encouragement for me is there are not too many days in which I feel the Royals are going to be overmatched from a pitching perspective. The offense is its own issue, and we'll talk about it. But I think a large portion of my confidence with this year's Royals team comes from the fact of I trust and believe in their starting pitching.
Yeah, and rightly so. And the trick, of course, is to stay healthy. And if that happens, then you're going to be in it. If it doesn't, why, probably going to be a little bit short. But, yeah, if the starting rotation can stay healthy and the bullpen can contribute the way they have in the last couple of years, why, they should be solid in that regard.
We've only seen 2 starts so far from Cole Reagans. We saw the good version of Cole Reagans and a disappointing version of Cole Reagans. I feel like he's the key to this entire thing. If you're telling me at the end of the season Cole Reagans has 30 starts and he's anywhere close to what he was in 2024, I feel like we're talking about this team winning their division.
Yeah, I don't worry about Cole Reagans except for the fact that he must stay injury-free, and that's been a problem for him. But when he's healthy, when he's on the mound, when he's dialed in, he's as good as anybody.
Right now, we're talking to the voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews, joining us on the show today. Before we talk specifically about the offense, I want to get your thoughts on Carter Jensen and the controversy from last week about him oversleeping. What did you make of it?
Nothing, to be honest about it. He overslept, and they talked to him. Obviously, he felt bad. He felt worse than anybody, according to the Royals manager, and it's over. And he will never do that again, I'm quite sure. But it's not the first time that that's ever happened. I think all of us in the entire world have gone through that once or twice in their lives.
The point that I made on the show, Denny, is this is a part of youth and this is part of maturity where this happens. This is something that needs to be policed inside the clubhouse. This is where one of the veterans talk to you. They sit you down. You get a talking to from the manager. I'm sure the team implements some fine that they know the amount of, and hopefully we never speak about this again. But this is just part of the process with any young adult in my mind.
Yeah, and I bet you money that when it happens again, it will be to a young player on the Royals team, maybe in 5 or 6 years. And who do you think will be the first person to talk to him about it? Carter Jensen.
I feel like a lot of the ceiling for this team is kind of tied up into what do you think Jack Caglione will turn into? What do you think Carter Jensen will turn into, the young guys? How do you feel about their prospects heading into this year? What do you think we could potentially be in for?
You can never predict potential. They both have adequate tools to be really good big league players. Now, how good can they be? And that's the question that nobody knows. And I don't have the answer. You don't have the answer. Anybody with the Royals doesn't have the answer. And neither player would have the answer right now. But how good can they be? We'll find out. And I'm not going to worry about either one of them at the moment because it takes time. Every player has his own timetable as far as when he develops to the point where he can say, I'm a big leaguer and I'm going to contribute in these ways. And they both have tremendous potential, I think you'd agree. But we'll just have to wait and see what's the ceiling and how good can they be.
What's the hardest thing for a young player who has less than 250 at-bats? Both of these guys will qualify.
You have to convince yourself, first of all, that you belong in the big leagues and you can play with those guys. Then you have to impress your manager and coaching staff, your other teammates, the rest of the league, the fans, all of baseball, and you're on your way. And it's a calendar of events in front of a young player, and he can't just assume that 2 days after he hits the big leagues, he has all the answers and he's going to reach his full potential. That's just ridiculous. It just takes time.
Right now, we're talking to the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals, Denny Matthews. Denny, you taught me a lot about baseball over the years. One quote you told me, and I'll always remember this, you said, if you want to understand how big the outfield is at Kauffman Stadium, go stand in center field, look to your left and look to your right, and realize that there are only 3 people who are supposed to cover all of this ground. So we all know the kind of park that Kauffman Stadium is. They have brought the fences in at Kauffman Stadium. What do you make of that decision?
Well, it's an analytical decision, and we'll see how it works out. It's only the alleys in left center and right center. Everything else is the same. So it's going to make a little bit of a difference, and you say, well, maybe the Royals will hit more home runs. True, maybe they will. But you know what? The other guys can hit home runs and take advantage of the lesser dimensions too. So I think the hitters, when they heard about it, said, oh, yeah, this is a great idea. When the pitchers heard about it, they said, we kind of liked it the way it was.
No, that makes a lot of sense. This is where I am with the Royals offense, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. It's super early in the season, so I don't want to overreact, and I know you're going to tell me that we got to wait until Memorial Day and June 1st. But on the other side of it, this offense looks a lot like how last year's offense looked like, and I don't think that was enough. I'm really struggling what to do with the Royals offense in these first handful of games.
Well, as you know, as everybody knows, it was production from the three outfielders, right? And J.J. Piccolo worked, I know this, he worked so hard on that problem over the winter, and he did a couple of things. Was it what he really wanted? I don't know. Probably not, but he did pick up a couple of guys, Thomas and Isaac, and we'll see how they do. Collins has been okay. Thomas got a big hit yesterday coming off the bench, and I still think Lane Thomas hasn't showed his full potential. He's been in the big leagues for a while, so it's about time he does, or it's never going to happen. But it's still a production. You know, your left fielder and right fielder, and to a degree your center fielder, who has to be defense first, and Kyle Isbell is, and really has come out of the starting gate offensively in great shape. But your two side fielders in the outfield are the guys that traditionally pick up the RBIs, the home runs, score runs, offense from the side fielders. And when you only have three guys, and that's what the Royals did last year, who are really carrying the brunt of the offense, it's not enough. And Salvi and Benny and Bobby Witt can't all take it all on their shoulders because it's not going to work out that way. You got to get contributions from the other guys. Garcia has proven now, I think, that he's a very solid big leaguer, and he's off to a good start this year. He had a good series over the weekend. But, yeah, I think the problem in the outfield still remains until otherwise notified.
Do you like the additions that the Royals have made to their team?
I do. Yeah, I think the roster is good and solid, offensively, defensively. Again, we still talk about left field and right field, and that's going to continue to happen until somebody says, all right, here we go. And Caglione is a big part of that equation at the moment. We'll see how that comes along. But I think those guys are going to be okay. If Caglione is a flop, I'll be stunned. And Carter Jensen, same way. He's got a lot of potential. We've seen some good things from him already, but consistency is a big thing with the young players, and they can be great in one game and maybe go for 5 in another, so consistency on that level is so important.
Denny, a lot of changes in the game of baseball since you and I last spoke. We now have this new ABS system. Do you like it, or are you a fan?
Yeah, so far, okay. Yeah, I'm going to see more, but, yeah, it's quick. Maybe sometimes not quick enough, but yeah, I think if you get the call right, then everybody wants a call, whether it's at home plate, strikes and balls, or on the bases, to be correct, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That is Denny Matthews, the Hall of Fame voice of the Kansas City Royals, joining us on the show today. You know that spring is here when Denny is back on the show. Denny, I'm so happy to have you on this spring, so happy as we go on this journey to see if the Royals can get back to the postseason.
We'll look forward to Mondays and our conversations for sure.
Absolutely. That is Denny Matthews, friend of the show, joining us to get his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals. Coming up on the other side, we are going to talk a little bit of NFL draft. There is a name that is really, really starting to shoot up the charts. I'll tell you who it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited-time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Warmer weather, longer days, and a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. Ah, smells like grilling season is here. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Choose bacon-wrapped chicken grillers for $3.99 each. Marinated chicken breasts, $1.99. Thick-cut pork chops, 3 for $5. And specialty brats, just 8 for $10. Don't forget your favorite marinade, rubs, and sauces, and fire up the grill this Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee makes our life easier every single day. Not only do they have great quality customer service and value every single day at Hy-Vee, they help us out and they take the pressure of shopping off our plate. We've got our Perks Plus membership. We upgraded from the regular Hy-Vee Perks membership because with Perks Plus, we get free grocery delivery or express pickup, plus even more exclusive benefits and savings like fuel saver deals all day long. So enroll today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Only at Hy-Vee.
At Telly Tire, when it comes to car problems, we've heard it all. From tires to timing belts to faulty air conditioning. Ooh. At Telly Tire and Auto Centers, we've been fixing problems like these and customers' bad days for over 80 years. So relax and take it to Telly. Schedule your service at TellyTire.com.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Golden. Learning the skills is only part of the journey. And over at Centric, turning those skills into a career is where people need the most support. And with Centric's 4-month IT program built around something different, a clear career pathway.
And that's where Centric's career services team comes in. They're going to help coach you through the resume building, interview preparation, and guidance, along with a real entry-level IT job with local employers. And if you're serious about making that career move, you got to just talk to our friend Russ Mondry and schedule that career pathway call. Go to Centric.com for more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this, and we've got a crash down at 435 eastbound just before Antioch. Right lane is blocked. 635 southbound before Shawnee Drive. A scoot to the right through here. That's a stall blocking the left lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
One of my favorite traditions in sports is coming up later today, where CBS perfectly recaps the last 3 weeks of watching this NCAA tournament, and we get one of the greatest songs ever recorded. R.I.P. to Luther Vandross. Rob, what's it like to watch your team highlighted and celebrated at the end of one shining moment?
It's a fantastic experience. I'll be real honest with you.
Have you ever gone back and watched the old ones? Like, have you ever gone back and watched the 1988 one? Have you gone back and watched the 2008 one?
I have seen many of those. I think there's a Twitter site that logs all of them that just has it. So yes, I've seen many of them.
I try to avoid those ones.
2022, I didn't see live, but I saw it the next morning. I made a point to see it before coming into work.
Got it. Why'd you not watch it live? You were at the game?
I went out in Lawrence. I was celebrating, and then one shining moment kind of fell onto the back burner that year.
Got it. I just couldn't remember. I've kind of almost erased that one out of my mind.
That one shining moment or that year?
The year. Just them winning the championship that year. It's almost like the World Series in 2014. Like, I know the Royals didn't win the World Series, but I don't really remember who won the World. And I was physically at Game 7. I don't remember what happened at Game 7. It just kind of, like, my memory just stops right there. I remember North Carolina beating Duke in the season finale and then also beating them in the Final Four. And then I don't really remember anything else about what happened in that college basketball season.
Do you not remember the first game of the Final Four that year either?
I honestly couldn't tell you who Kansas played in the Final Four that year, to be completely honest with you. I know it was Kansas, Duke, North Carolina. I could not tell you who the other program was. Like, genuinely have absolutely no clue who Kansas beat to then go to the national championship and then eventually win the chip. I just completely erased that college basketball season out of my mind.
Just, nope, didn't never happen.
Who they play?
Villanova.
That's what I would have guessed.
They smoked Villanova.
That's what I would have guessed. Y'all owed them for, I mean.
Yeah, yes, they did.
They've definitely thumped you a couple of times. Because that was Devontae Graham and Frank Mason. They smoked you guys that year.
Yeah, it wasn't Frank Mason. It was Devontae Graham and Svi. Just
okay, that's the team. Okay, I couldn't remember which one. Yeah.
Feet. Yeah. So
because Frank Mason was on the team that lost to Oregon in the Elite Eight. Yeah, okay. That was Josh I have my years off a little bit. Okay. All right.
So, and then there's the thing. It comes from the video a lot of KU where Christian Browns hits a big three in the second half. And
I do remember that one.
That's the moment from that game people remember.
I do remember that. I've deleted a lot of that out of my mind. Just genuinely a lot of it. There was some like shot from David McCormick. He had like a big hook shot that basically clinched the game, right? That's all I remember about that basketball game.
It was quite literally the game winner, but all right.
Okay, yeah, no, I knew it was some important shot. I knew that was it. That's not a game I have never seen the highlights since it was over. I don't need to see the highlights again. They won. That's all I need to know from the story. I don't remember anything else. Someone texted in, CDOT, I would love to see Denny's phone. You know what? Don't play Denny Matthews. Denny has an iPhone. Now, we actually call it Denny's house phone. But Denny and I have texted one another before. Denny has an iPhone, can text, can FaceTime, can do all of those things. So let's not play Denny Matthews like he's not young and hip, because he is absolutely young and hip out here.
Denny is. Considering.
Denny does have a house phone, though, with an answering machine.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Denny's the only human being I know that has a house phone. I'm not saying there are not other people, like if somebody's like, oh, I have one. Well, I don't know you in a real life sense. That's not no shame. I don't know you. I'm saying is people that I know. I do not know another person who has a house phone other than Denny Matthews. He's the only person I know.
I don't know anyone else either. He actually was telling me that he's sad. There's a chance the house phone disappears in the next coming 6-7 months or whatever.
They're going to just discontinue phone service?
No, he was telling me today there's a large cable and internet change in his neighborhood, and he might lose the landline. So.
No, Denny needs the landline. Come on now. Denny needs the landline. Don't do that to Denny. I actually wouldn't mind if they gave us a house phone. Like, I would actually have a house phone. I genuinely would have one. I don't want everybody to have my cell phone number, but I'm not paying extra. I already pay one phone bill. I'm not paying an additional phone bill for a phone that I can only use at the crib. I'm not doing that. But I would love to have a cordless phone at my house. I actually really would be in favor of it. That should just become included with the Wi-Fi. They should just give you a phone.
Yeah, but I mean, if everyone communicates with you via cell phone, who's calling the landline?
I mean, I just would give, I'm saying is I would just give people I would just give the doctor the landline. I would just give CVS the landline and just leave me a message like everybody else, and then I can just check it from my cell phone.
You think you get a lot of spam calls on your cell phone. Your home phone would be just berated with bad calls.
Oh, for sure. Well, no, shout out to Denny Matthews, man. We're big Denny Matthews people on this show. I love Denny Matthews, like, wholeheartedly. He has been nothing but gracious to me, nothing but kind. I love Denny. I couldn't let you play Denny like that. He absolutely has an iPhone. I've texted to him. I FaceTime with Denny Matthews before. The text line was trying to imply that Denny had a flip phone, like an old school flip phone. No, he's way hipper than that, way cooler than that. I wasn't going to let you do that. All right, I want to play a couple of different news clips for you guys that are related to the NFL draft. This is the first one. Now, I would say take everything you hear about the draft with a grain of salt now. One person will tell you this. The other person will completely contradict what person A just said. You can't believe any of them. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody is lying. Everybody is presenting mistruths. But it's my job to tell you what these are, and then we can decipher whether or not that's true. Daniel Jeremiah, friend of the show, Daniel Jeremiah. He was on Mina Kimes' podcast. He said that Carnell Tate could potentially go number 2 overall to the Jets.
I think Tate starts. I think he's in play like at 2. I think that conversation. I think he's entertained at 2.
Would you have taken over Love if I had given that choice to you?
No, I have Love, but I mean, I there's a lot of Tate supporters out there. There's a lot of people that need a receiver. I'll say this: if Tate was 205 pounds instead of 192 pounds, and he ran 4.42 instead of 4.53, I think there's a real chance he's the second pick in the draft.
Carnell Tate could possibly go as high as number 2 in this year's NFL draft. Now, maybe we have been all off on this thing, and I would not be surprised. I feel like the number 2 overall pick is either going to be David Bailey or Arvell Reese. I don't know why the Jets would pass on either one of those individuals. Like, if you are the Jets right now and you don't have a chance at Mendoza, I don't know how you're not looking at it. And right now, I'm asking myself, which one of these two guys is the better pass rusher, who has the higher ceiling, who can come in here in day one and dominate and round out our, like, that's how I would do it if I was the Jets. I would draft one of those two guys. But Carnell Tate as high as number 2, I wouldn't do that, especially if you're the Jets. You don't have your quarterback right now. You just paid Garrett Wilson. You got future first-round picks. So, I mean, you can always go back and get yourself another wide receiver. I would pick up a pass rusher with the number 2 overall pick, but they're the Jets, so who knows what they could do. They could end up taking the offensive lineman from Miami with the number 2 overall pick, and that wouldn't shock me either.
I don't think Carnell Tate's going to. But the part that he says there about there are a lot of Tate believers out there is very notable to me because Carnell Tate's a name that Chiefs fans have definitely talked about. You know, we've argued about Carnell Tate on this show, but if there are Carnell Tate believers in the top 5, 6, 7, 8 ahead of the Chiefs, he might be a name to watch out for. And for better or worse, that Ohio State wide receiver lineage is a thing. And the fact that Daniel Jeremiah, who doesn't just throw stuff against the wall, is saying there are believers, it's a name to watch out for.
I'd be really shocked at 2. Now, to keep it with the Carnell Tate conversation, Matt Miller, friend of the show, personal friend, more than just friend of the show. Matt Miller tweeted out earlier today that right now, if he had to set the over-under on where Carnell Tate would go, he would set the over-under at 6.5. Now, I would say this is trending to be, if the board goes how I think it can go. I don't know. This is just a prediction based on reading all of this information, all of these mock drafts, and trying to throw it together. I would say the Chiefs fans' worst case scenario is Bailey is off the board, Bain is off the board, and Carnell Tate is off the board, and you don't have access to any three of those individuals. Now, this is a different conversation for a different day, and I'm sure we'll have it, is if you want to guarantee that you're going to get one of those three, I think you're going to have to move up in the NFL draft. I do. I think you're going to have to move up. Now, that's not saying you stay at 9 and you can have access to one of the other wide receivers. You can have access to Caleb Downs. I know you guys don't want to talk about offensive linemen. You'll probably be able to get an offensive lineman that's really good at number 9. But if this board goes how Vegas thinks, if you look at Vegas, most likely to go number 2, most likely to go number 3, Bailey will be off the board, Bain will be off the board, Arvell Reese will be off the board, and it would appear that Carnell Tate could also possibly be off the board. I would say in terms of who I think Chiefs fans want, that is the worst case scenario. But I would be a little bit surprised now at this point if Carnell Tate is there at number 9. I'm just guessing one of those teams grabs him before then. Whether it's Tennessee at number 4 because they want to pair him with their quarterback, whether it's Washington, they want to pair him. Carnell Tate, falling all the way to 9, I'd be a little bit surprised because the buzz that's coming from Carnell Tate doesn't seem to just be coming from one person. Now, here is Todd McShay, who we're working on getting on the show. And once we get past all these day games, Todd McShay will be on the show. And there's a lot to get his thoughts on. He is hearing that Carnell Tate could go top 5.
Based off of my conversations with people in the league, don't be surprised if Sonny Styles and Carnell Tate both go in the top 5.
Now, Rob, let's put the Carnell Tate thing aside for right now. Let's talk about this Sonny Styles kid. Now, I know that you and I have had our disagreements during this process, and you know what? That's the show. We can't agree on everything. We're going to disagree because you and I would build football rosters a little bit differently. If there's one thing that I know you and I are completely in line with, it's why in the world would you spend the 4th overall pick on Sonny Styles? He's not a sack guy. Would you draft Nick Bolton with the 4th overall pick, Chiefs fans? I'm serious. Would you draft Nick Bolton with the 4th? That's who Sonny Styles is. He's Nick Bolton. You would draft that guy with the 4th overall pick? He's a go get a bunch of tackles guy. He's not a get after the quarterback kind of guy. He's not a sideline guy. I don't understand the Sonny Styles thing at all. I'm not saying he's not a good player. Sonny Styles is a good draft pick at 17. Sonny Styles is a really good draft pick at 19. You're telling me in 2026, I'm drafting a linebacker with the 4th overall pick, and that's not a guy that he just covers and gets tackles? No, I cannot believe the NFL is considering doing that.
I mean, I am just like befuddled back here that's a thing. I mean, I'm trying to think who the best middle linebacker. If he's Luke Kuechly, I don't know I take him at 4.
Kuechly's a little different beast.
I mean, he's an elite middle linebacker. You're taking him at 4? You would take him over Carnell Tate? You take?
No, well, I wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, I
just not you, but like you as a GM would be like, yeah, I don't know. I want this edge rusher Bain. He's got baby arms, so I'm gonna take the middle linebacker. No, that would be outlandish. Also, Todd McShay is very good at his job. When he says I'm hearing Reese and Tate maybe end up in the top 5, is his source Ryan Day? Who else would be saying that?
That's a good one. That's a great one. No, I wish I had a good response to it. I don't. But yeah, I mean, this would be like, to give you on the same context, this would be like, would you spend the 4th overall pick for Jack Campbell? Like, I would say that's who you think that Sonny Styles could turn out to be, right? Would you spend the 4th overall pick on Jack Campbell?
I mean, maybe he's more.
I know you and I, the answer is no. I would not spend but Jack Campbell got picked with the 18th overall pick. Yeah, I'd spend the 18th overall pick on that player. I'm not spending the 4th overall pick on him. I know we've talked a lot about the draft being up or down. The positions that we are talking about then signifies to me that the draft is down. If you're telling me that you think out of the 10 best players in this draft class, you think it's a running back, a middle linebacker, and a safety? This is not a strong draft class this year. You're telling me there's no offensive lineman that people love? I would say there's no real wide receiver that people love really outside of Carnell Tate. I don't even know if there's a love for Carnell Tate. He never had 1,000 yards in college. He was not that guy in college. It's not like next year where Jeremiah Smith is going to be he's the most talented. Like that's not how people feel about this draft class. I mean, those players to me are indicative of the feeling that people have. David Bailey would be a top 10 pick in anybody's draft class. I think that Bain would be a high draft pick in just about anybody's draft class. Maybe you could sell me on Jeremiah Love just because I think he might be the best skill position player in this thing. But Sonny Styles, it could be a top 5 pick. No thanks.
Someone on the text line asks if he's Fred Warner, would you take him in the top 5? I wouldn't. And that's not an insult to Fred Warner, who's trending like a Hall of Fame player.
I think he's going to the Hall of Fame, but yeah, I get your point.
I have a hard time justifying in the top 5 a position you don't want to be in more than once. You're going to go middle linebacker.
The 70th overall pick.
I'm trying to think. Roquan Smith had a lot of hype coming out of Georgia as a middle linebacker.
Also a mid-round pick. Also, a mid-round first-round pick.
A mid-first-round pick. Top 5 is... Derek Johnson might be one of the best tacklers in this
Actually,
franchise.
no, we're wrong on Roquan. He was the 8th overall pick.
Yeah, and he has not lived up to that at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend the 8th overall pick on Roquan Smith.
Exactly. Then, yes, that's a great example. Roquan coming out of Georgia, a lot of hype. Oh, watch out for Roquan. He has not at all lived up to the 8th overall pick. And he's been a good player. He hasn't been 8th overall good. He hasn't changed your franchise, which is what you want out of a top 10 pick.
He's been really good these last couple of years, but no, you're right. He's okay. I don't know. Maybe you and I are wrong about linebacker positional value. Like, I'm open to the possibility of that we're just wrong about the positional value, that there still is a lot of value in having a guy that just gobbles up a bunch of tackles. Like, looking at Roquan Smith these last handful of years, I mean, in 2023, 158 combined tackles. In 2024, 154. In 2025 last year, 130. Like, maybe there's still a significant value in just having a guy that just is a super surefire, always around the ball kind of guy. But, like, he doesn't get to the other team's quarterback. He doesn't, like, so this past year, he had 130 tackles. He never forced a fumble. He didn't get a sack this year. How valuable of a player is that on defense at one of those positions if they don't do either one of those things?
I would say very little value, but you're right. Maybe the NFL just views...
Is that crazy, though? Like, I'm just looking. I understand he plays linebacker. He didn't have an interception last year, didn't force a fumble, didn't have a sack last year, and only had 5 tackles for losses. Yeah, he got a bunch of tackles. Like, he didn't really make a whole lot of splash, impact, dynamic plays last year, just based on the raw numbers in the box score.
As a person who is a linebacker truther when it comes to positional value, I would tell you his tackles number is a product of where he stands on the field more than like pure talent. Like, I bet if you looked at the top 20 tacklers in the NFL, I bet you 15 plus of them are middle linebackers, just because that's where the football ends up. It's not because they're just dynamic, always around the ball, Like, there are dynamic middle linebackers, but it's a product of their position, their tackle number.
Yeah, for sure. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, I could see him winning Defensive Player of the Year, but I'm not picking him at 4, like 15. Just with the way that the NFL is today, you are not winning Defensive Player of the Year if you're not a guy that forces turnovers or gets to the other team's quarterback.
Or at that position. Who's the last middle linebacker win Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, but I would also say that's when teams just ran the ball a lot more. Yeah, like that's like the Urlacher, Luke Kuechly days. Like, yeah, you could get it back then. Just with the way that teams pass the ball now, I don't know if you can be a guy that you get 160 tackles, but if you don't get to the other team's quarterback, because they're just ultimately going to be a guy that gets like 19 sacks, and everybody's going to think that's the guy that should be it.
Or you're going to have I know this player didn't have a great year, but a Jalen Ramsey type of shutdown Revis Island corner, and you're going to be like, well,
Pat Surtain, one of those kind of dogs.
That guy just changes the game so much that, I imagine Broncos fans are not like, man, who needs, Surtain and Nick Bonito? We got Alex Singleton in the middle. That's not a thought people have in 2025.
You've been real funny this segment. Alex Singleton. Why? The way you said Alex Singleton, it sounded like a negative, like a diss, even when I know that's not a diss. That's a good player.
Like, he's not bad. It's not an insult to him as a player.
He is. He's actually a very good player. But the way you said Nick Singleton made it sound like a negative.
He's a very good middle linebacker, but no one in Denver is like, we got him, we're squared. They would be like, no, we got Benito and we got Pat Surtain. Those are the pillars of our defense.
No, for sure. I mean, he had 135 tackles last year. He was very, very good. Now, he did force a fumble last year. That's important. He did force a fumble. I can't tell you if it was recovered or not, but no, they actually didn't recover it. FR. That'd be fumble recovery. No, didn't even recover it.
Any picks? No, probably not.
No. Did not have a pick last year. Didn't recover a fumble. Didn't intercept the football last year. He did deflect 4 passes. That's important to note. He did knock a ball down. I bet you know what? I don't know the answer to this, and I'm partially being funny. Whenever Nick Bolton drops an interception, does that count as a pass deflection?
That's actually a good question. He did deflect the pass,
for
so
sure.
he should get the points
he
for
absolutely deflected it. Because I can think of plenty of times where the ball was coming right at Nick Bolton. He couldn't catch the football. Does that get written down as a pass deflection? Because you technically deflected it, but that's not almost intended. You did not intend to do that. We're off early today because of the Royals. Our schedule is really quirky for the next couple of days. So we're off today at 4 o'clock. For the next 2 days, the Royals play at noon Central because of the time difference, and they had to move it because of the weather. It's almost like we shouldn't be playing baseball games outside in Cleveland in early April because it's not fully warm yet in spring. But you know what? One thing we know about American sports is they're going to get to that money. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
It's been a long, grueling season and an exciting tournament, but we are finally here. The final college basketball game of the season is here. It's tonight, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost. You can build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payoff or try live betting and jump in after the tip. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the championship game coming up later tonight. Take advantage of the FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay or use it with live betting after the tip-off during tonight's championship affair. And remember, go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. It's FanDuel. Play your game on America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook here at 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is novel drawable profit book token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Tonight, expect cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain and a low of 37.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Still working the stall downtown 70 westbound past 18th. Right lane is blocked. Near Shawnee, 635 southbound just before Shawnee Drive. Left lane is blocked. And the crash down at 435 eastbound still there at Antioch. Scoot to the left. Dime Bowwood traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
I just saw this tweet from Rock Chalk Blog. These are the players who are currently on the roster for Kansas. Now, they haven't added the recruits. I'm sure they're going to go out and get some work done in the transfer portal. These are the players who are currently saying they're coming back to Kansas. Cole Rosario, Jamari McDowell, Taylon Kinney, Davion Atkins, Trent Perry, and Luke Barnett.
Oh, those are all recruits, by the way. Everyone you mentioned. Because Tate McKinney was the kid who won.
That's the in the McDonald's game. Yeah, you're right. That's the team right now. Cole Rosario, Jamari McDowell, and I'm assuming that these last four names are all four incoming freshmen. Now I'm just going to assume that if Taylon Kinney is in this.
Yeah, because Trent Perry is a freshman. Yeah.
Because I was looking at Luke Barnett, I'm like, I ain't never heard of him before.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying the kid can't hoop. I never heard of him before.
Yeah, those are all recruits that have signed, so they have to go to Kansas.
Good luck to Kansas as they are trying to recruit the portal. We'll see who comes back. I mean, last year, Flory hit the portal. Last year, Flory came back. Bryson Tiller hit the portal. The other big, how do you pronounce the kid's last name?
Paul Mbia.
You guys were high on him. He had those couple of buckets against Cal Baptist, and y'all was really starting to see the big picture with him heading into next year. Excuse me, he hit the portal.
He had a nice game against St. John's.
He was okay.
He used all his fouls.
Yeah, that's what matters most. That's what matters most.
What's that John Calipari quote? I met with the team. There is no team.
Yeah.
That's Bill Self in the team room right now.
Good luck. Just good luck to Kansas as they're trying to, replenish, restock the cupboard heading into Bill's potential last year. I don't know, but, Bill's coming back next year. I'm sure they're going to get to work. I'm sure they're going to be in the portal. I haven't really seen a name so far that's hit the portal that you're like, oh, this is the kid that everybody's going to want. I haven't seen that guy hit the portal yet, but the portal opens tomorrow, and it's open for 14 days. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple like, I can't believe he's in the portal. It's how it is every year.
Yeah, I mean, we also have coaching changes, like
for sure. We're kind of waiting to all that settle. But now that Carolina's done, we're done.
It's possible someone at North Carolina meets with Michael Malone today and says, "Nope, that's a thing."
Yeah,
you don't know. Or maybe there's a kid on Michigan who's a 5-star who's sitting on the bench and doesn't want to play. You never know.
I also think that one of these star freshmen is going to end up coming back, and one of them is going to end up transferring. Like, just with the amount of money that it is, everybody that we think is leaving is not leaving, I would say. Because some kids are going to say, yeah, I got a chance to be the 12th overall pick in this year's draft class, come back, ball out. I think I could be the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft class.
I guess I'm not saying you're wrong. Define star. Like the guys we talk about on this show.
The kid from Tennessee, the Nate Ahmed. I can see him coming back.
Nate Ahmed, I can see. But
Nate Ahmed,
Avekof's gone, I think.
For sure.
Wagler's gone.
I can see a scenario in which Kingston Flemings comes back from Houston.
Yeah, okay, I can see that one. I just want
to be that level.
Because I know people say Dubansky could get a raise. He's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Although he made $8 million last year. That's just.
What do you think Caden Boozer is going to do? Not Cameron. What do you think Caden is going to do?
I assume he's going to enter too.
Enter what? The portal or the draft?
Portal. That's what my assumption would be. And then wherever his brother gets
drafted. I hope he doesn't enter the draft. He's getting terrible advice. Your dad was an NBA player. Your dad can't tell you the truth. Your dad needs to sit you down. Your dad needs to have that conversation with you, my boy. You're not ready for the league yet. You're not ready to inbound the ball past half court. I wouldn't be doing this yet.
I mean, scouts are talking to your brother. Ask one of them.
Yeah, ask one of them.
Any one of them.
Let me play a couple of Royals cuts before we got to sign off for the day. Our schedule's weird. We're off at 4 today, and the next 2 days we have day games. So, again, our schedule's weird. It'll kind of clear up here once we kind of get past some of these day games. Here is Josh Vernier. He is saying that Royals fans like yourself, you should be expecting a series win against the Guardians.
If you're going to have a 3-3 homestand, which to me is a disappointment, it needs to be made up somewhere. So, 2 of 3 on the road. I'm not going to give you it's tough to win a series on the road. You need to do something extraordinary to offset this disappointing series in Atlanta, this disappointing homestand, this disappointing start to the season. So, I like it, Dusty. I like where the standard is. I like where the expectations are. But to go back to what you said when we first started this conversation, the base running and defense must get cleaned up, or else they're going to get worked by Cleveland like they just got worked and totally outclassed by Milwaukee.
I mean, right now, to me, the question with the Royals is kind of simple. Now, I understand it hasn't fully been on the offense. Some of it's been on the rotation. Some of it's been on the bullpen. I mean, it's a total team effort. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I'm looking at the Royals right now. Vinny Pasquantino has no home runs. He has 0 home runs. Bobby Witt Jr., we were talking about him winning MVP. So far this season, he has no home runs. Jack Caglione, he has no home runs, no RBIs so far this season. Now, it's early. I'm not telling you should be worried about any of these individuals. But if I told you over a 9-game stretch that Vinny wouldn't have a home run, Bobby wouldn't have a home run, Jack Caglione wouldn't have a home run, I'm guessing you, and I told you what's their record in those 9 games, I'm sure you tell me they're hovering around 500. Maybe they're over, maybe they're under. That's where they are right now. At some point, the bats are going to heat up. Vinny will heat up. Bobby Witt Jr. will heat up. Like, Jack Caglione is actually hitting the ball fairly well. He has 287 and 375 on base percentage. He's actually been a pretty productive offensive player for them. Just don't have a whole lot of power right now. Don't have a whole lot of pop right now. We'll see what that looks like, especially in Cleveland. It is not warm in Cleveland right now. So I'm going to guess that offense is also going to be hard to come by here for the next couple days, but they're back in Kansas City this weekend as they are playing the Chicago White Sox. All right, my name is Carrington Harrison. Appreciate you guys being here again. Our schedule is kind of weird these next couple days with the Royals. We'll be back to normal at some point.